What do you say to the folks who believe that it's not tough enough?
Yeah. Well, you know, what I've done in response to the question, and I have been asked, is I've simply said, look, I was my first day on the job. I let Glenn and Kevin, who, you know, are football operations guys, you know, largely handle it. What I said to them, and the only thing I said, really, there were two things. One was that I'm going to respect their decision and I'm going to support what they recommend to me. And the only other thing I said is, I'm not here to be a tough guy. Like, I'm not trying to prove to anybody that I can be a tough commissioner. What I want to do is keep our game safe. I want it to be played fairly, but I want to keep our players on the field. And then the only other overarching thing is our referees are incredibly important to the game, and they have to be respected. So, you know, those were the framework of my observations. And when they came to me with this recommendation, I supported it.
Just a follow-up, have you reached out to the referees? Have they reached out to you with any concerns?
Well, actually, they were part of the discussion. So, you know, we were talking to them. Glenn was talking to them throughout the process, and I think they, you know, in the end, they understood and supported the decision. You know, I think the one thing I have said is I will not be tolerant of that type of behavior again. I'm not going to, if it happened again, the punishment will be much more severe. I wanted to essentially use this moment as a platform to say to the players, look, I want this to be a great game for all of us, but you can't touch a referee, and if you do, the next offense is going to be dealt with much more harshly.
When you say next offense, you mean anyone, not just one-on-one?
Yeah, and in fact, you know, interestingly, I mean, there is really no policy around this topic, and we will build one in the next short while and have it put in place very, very quickly. But there is a line in the sand now, and I would want the players to know that. I love them, but they can't touch the referees, and if anyone touches a referee again, they can expect that the penalty will be much harsher.
As you mentioned, kind of baptism by fire, day one, having to deal with this. I'm sure you've come across a few challenges. What surprised you maybe as you've kind of taken over the job and what it all entails?
You know, actually nothing, I would say, especially surprising. I mean, it's a very vibrant atmosphere in the league office, and there's lots of fantastic people there. You know, the reception I've gotten literally from across the country has been, you know, very strong, very warm, very friendly. I mean, quite honestly, I feel honored to be sitting here with all of you tonight and having a chance to talk about football. I think that's been the fun part. Like, if anything, so I've been in a business. I've been wearing a suit since I was, I think, 3 years old. And you know, to go to work and be working in football, like I actually on Monday morning when I was getting ready for work, I went like, wow, I'm going to work in football, and it was just the way it made me feel. I think was the best part of the week so far.